All right. Well, I just start off by taking whatever questions y'all may have.
Mayor, on the recycling item.
Yes.
You were discussing bringing forward a plan that would mostly offset the estimated cost.
Yes.
Of the new contract. What are you envisioning doing?
I'm looking at all options. I certainly want to talk with the city council members about possible options. I think there's a strong commitment in this city to recycling. I don't think this is I don't think we just need to stop recycling. In fact, there are many people in the Houstonians that want to expand it. So the question is, can we continue to do it in a cost-efficient manner? I'm also going to take the time to go back and revisit with the vendor, with Waste Management on this. I just want to make sure that we explore all possible options. And then if there are ways that we can engage in, how can I put this, make it cost neutral in some fashion. We'll look at, take a look at doing that, maybe some offsets of some kind. So I just want to look at all potential options that may be available for us.
I mean, are you envisioning that as cost neutral within the contract, within the department, or offsetting it somewhere else? It may be
some offset someplace else. I'll take a look at the contract itself. I'm going to visit back with Waste Management to see if we can possibly work something out there. They've been an excellent partner with the city of Houston. I think there's a commitment to recycling. And then there may be some other sort of measures that we can take someplace else that may offset the additional costs here. I think what I indicated earlier in 2016, well, because of the commodity prices being affected by the low oil prices, in 2016 it could cost us about $800,000. In 2017 it could cost us as much as $3 million. So we'll try to find ways that we can maybe neutralize the additional costs and continue the recycling.
May you consider a garbage fee, because we don't have one?
You'll have to talk to maybe somebody else that ran for office who's suggesting that, but he's not mayor.
But is that a possibility even?
No, there is. I have never contemplated a garbage fee when it has come up. I've said to members of my own staff, I am not going to advocate a garbage fee, and I'm not going to support a garbage fee. So absolutely not. No.
When you talk about visiting with Waste Management, do you have time to do that when the contract expires pretty soon?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be anything from picking up the phone. I asked somebody to come and visit with me. I just wanted to make sure that we're exploring all options. I think you heard the sentiment around the table, and I know myself, and been out on the trail quite a bit, that there are a lot of Houstonians that are committed to recycling. I know if we end it, let's just say we end it, we don't do it, then those items are going to the landfill, and that's going to take up capacity. And that's really, it's not in the best interest of the city of Houston in the long term. And so you don't necessarily want to stop it and then try to restart it. I do understand the fiscal implications and the challenges that we are currently facing. So I just want to make sure that we explore all possible options to offset the cost and then move forward.
I know you were saying you want to talk to council about it first.
Right.
But can you give any sort of broad indication of some of the options you're thinking of, or pick it up less often?
I indicated to them, Mike, that I wanted to visit with them first, and out of deference to them, I do want to take the time to visit with them.
There was no mention of the one bin program. Is that
No.
still something that's being considered, or is that off the table?
It's not anything that I'm considering at this time, no. I've had no conversation with it, not looked at it, and don't have any immediate plans to look at it either.
Because some say, new technology could help with, offset the low commodity prices for recycling by maybe in a new facility already produce new products and then circumvent the whole commodity price, crisis. So
yeah, there are a lot of questions surrounding the one bin proposal. I've looked at it and read the paper that's been presented from what was done. I'm not convinced that is something I want to move forward with right now, if at any time. But it's not a part of this conversation.
Mayor, since you talked last week about possible layoffs and you didn't really take firefighters off the table. Have you had any discussions with the union or the pension board or any firefighters in general about that?
Yes. I mean, I've had conversations with all of the groups on several occasions. We are continuing to have conversations, and they've been positive. I think everyone recognizes that I don't want to lay off anybody. I don't want to lay off a firefighter. I don't want to lay off a municipal worker. And I think I made that very clear. But it's going to require everybody engaging in shared sacrifice. I want everybody at the table. I want everybody participating in the conversation. I want everybody to participate in having to create not just balancing the budget in 2017, but helping and putting together a systematic plan to deal with the short-term and the long-term finances and the financial challenges of the city.
But you're still not ready to take firefighters off the table?
I said last week I wanted to maintain all options as we handle the financial challenges. I don't want to lay off any. I respect the firefighters and what they do. I recognize that they're sacrificing their lives every time they go out on a call. I recognize that. I've been supportive of firefighters for my entire time in public service, going back for 26 years. I don't want to lay off anyone, but I'm simply asking if people will continue to work with me as they have and as others have, then I think we can minimize layoffs for employees for the city of Houston.
So just one more question on the topic. It seems like, and I don't know where it came from, but apparently there's some rumors going around that because you said that, perhaps is one reason why we've had several multi-alarm fires, perhaps are pulling extra alarms. Have you heard that rumor? And if you have, what's the reaction?
I haven't heard that. I think the firefighters know that I value what they do. I value the support that they have given to me. Okay, and I recognize that they are on the front line, so I recognize that. And I would like to think that every employee of the city of Houston fully understands that I am not insensitive to the fact that they have families and they provide a vital service to the people in the city of Houston. This city would not be as great as it is and can be without our city employees. But we are facing some tough financial challenges. It's going to require some tough decisions. I think I'm put in the position of having to make those tough calls. The books will balance by the end of June. But if people continue to work with me as we move forward, then I think we can minimize the impact on any group or in any.
So you don't think there's some sort of mischief going on amongst?
No, I respect people too much. I think people are concerned about their jobs, and and I understand that. I'm very sensitive to that. But I am having at least 3 conversations a week with my financial team, and looking at the budget every single day. And anytime there's some variable that's taking place, we're going through the modifications and looking at a lot of different parameters. It's a work in progress. And different departments are submitting to me different budgets. And whether it's 5%, 7%, I may take a little here, a little from there. But this is what I've been doing for the last 21 plus years, and dealing with budgets. Is a work in progress. But it's going to require shared sacrifice, and I cannot say that enough. As long as people are coming to the table, not just employee groups, but TERS. I've had conversations with the TERS, with the leadership of several of the TERS as well, and talked about shared sacrifice and their willingness to participate in getting us to a balanced budget situation. So there are many conversations that are taking place. And as long as people continue to come to the table and engaging in a positive way, then I think we can minimize the losses to people as a whole.
What about the airport? What's going on over there with you've seen some of the press coverage about Mr. Diaz. Are you concerned about his actions prior to you becoming mayor, and do you think that affects his future employment?
No, we're moving forward. I rebooted the contract that was before us when I came in place. So we are starting from ground zero, and we are doing that. I've always said that I wanted to make sure that we are operating with the greatest degree of integrity, and I continue to hold to that. And so we have restarted that process, and we'll see what the end result will be.
Is he going to keep his job?
He certainly has his job.
Mayor, can you add any detail on
Yes.
the Don restructuring that you talked about?
Yeah, when I came, I heard from a number of city council members and from community people that that Don was not working with maximum and with the greatest degree of efficiency. Just like I heard about the potholes. And then just like yesterday, we had people who came and indicated, one woman talked about the number 7 cars, I think, sitting in the neighbor's front yard for a long period of time. That's unacceptable. So essentially, what I have done is that I have pulled together the Department of Neighborhoods, HIT, Technology Department, Citizens Assistance, Public Works, the city's legal department, and just like we did with the pothole initiative, we are, I am redesigning the Department of Neighborhoods, restructuring in some cases. In some cases, it may bring in some other folk, change out some, There have been thousands of let's say, tickets, I don't know how you would describe them, where inspectors have gone out and ticketed certain violations, and there's a huge backlog there. So we are moving now to clean that out, to clear that out. Cases that have been dealt with, resolved, and just not closed, we need to close them out. And then putting in a new system where we processing the new violations in a much more timely fashion. The other thing is that what I've said to them is that it's important for this department especially to be customer service oriented, which means it's not just enough to go out there and issue a violation. What we may need in many cases to work with that particular neighbor. And there may be some other things that are taking place there. So it may not be something that directly falls under Don, Department of Neighborhood. It may need to be referred to mayor's assistants. And so I'm looking at even pulling out, for example, from the Department of Neighborhoods now, the citizens' assistant is a part of that, and I may pull that out and put that directly in the mayor's office, so that we can have much more accountability in the process. There are some other things in the department have done, like the anti-gang team force. I think that there's several other components under Don, and I'm pulling those things away so that Don can focus on his core mission.
Just code enforcement then? I mean, like what, if you're moving those divisions out, what do you envision the new structure to be?
Essentially, it may be more directed to code enforcement, but at the same time providing them with more room so that they can provide more of a customer service oriented service. It's just not recognizing where there's a code violation. There may be some other elements there where we can be more we can get a better result instead of just writing a citation and then it just sitting there, or you're shooting it over to legal. So legal needs to be playing a much more integral role with the Department of Neighborhood sooner than at the end, because what ends up happening now, you have inspectors that are out there writing out violations, and then they send them over to legal, but legal is still having to pick up the phone to talk to the homeowner, for example, to see why certain things have not occurred. And in many cases, legal doesn't have to take it to a hearing. Those things are worked out just by picking up the phone and talking with the homeowner. Well, that should have been dealt with much early in the process, not later. So the way it is working now, you write the citations, you pass it over to legal, it takes time from the attorneys over at legal, and then it's just unresolved. Some cases have been unresolved for more than a year. So that's unacceptable. So the key now is to streamline that process, to make sure that we clearly delineate who's responsible for what, to make sure we have the mindset that we are here to be customer service oriented and not just writing citations just for the sake of writing citations. That's not the goal here. It's to improve those neighborhoods, working with the people in those communities to have a much better neighborhood and that's where the focus is. So hopefully, we can finish that process in the next week or so, and then we'll make the announcement.
So it's less about moving employees to different areas and more about what the employees there are doing.
Well, there are roughly 32 inspectors now in the Department of, and when we say Department of Neighborhoods, the way it's structured now, there are a whole lot of, if you eliminate all of those ancillary, activities, like anti-gang. If you eliminate all those ancillary, there are 32 inspectors. And I think they need to have a better understanding of what their role is and what we're asking of them. And their role is not just to go into a neighborhood and just write people up. The role is to work with that person, that neighbor, that homeowner, to eradicate or to remove a problem that is a problem. And to the extent they are not able to do it, to refer that to someone who's in a better position to do it. It may need to be referred to citizens' assistance. And in this case, if citizens' assistance is with the mayor's office, as it used to be years ago, then maybe we can get a better result. Because at the end, it's all about the results. Where neighbors are being non-compliant and simply are not willing to remove that code violation, then it goes over to legal. But that's after we have exhausted all the things that needed to be done prior to, and that we have a file that that legal can pick up and take to a hearing and get that matter resolved. But right now, there are too many different silos in the process, and when you look at the complaints, thousands have been just hanging out there unresolved, or if they've been resolved, it doesn't show a resolution in the system. And then developing a website similar to like the Pothole Initiative, so people can actually pull it up and see, where it is in the system. Okay, and I think that will help it to be a lot more transparent. Okay.
There were
Yes,
three
sir.
items that dealt with rental housing redevelopment in the Palm Center area.
Yes, sir.
11, 12, and 29. Could you explain a little bit more of what that community can expect and what's been going on for them?
I think there was one item that was pulled as it relates in the Palm Center area, and that was sent back to administration for us to take a look at. There were some questions raised whether or not it was ready to move forward, whether or not the developer had done everything that he or she needed to do, whether or not it was in the best interest. Okay. So there was one that was pulled out, and then I think there were 2 or 3 that were unanimously approved, where everything was fine, thought it was a compliment to the community, and there were no problems with those 3. But one was sent back to the administration.
Mayor,
Yes.
Andy Taylor has joined the lawsuit against the city regarding the term limits.
Congratulations to him.
So he has a pretty good track record against the city, so I was wondering if you're concerned.
No, I'm not.
You're not allowed to?
Well, there are a lot of people who run to the courthouse for various purposes. I think Houstonians knew what they were doing, but we'll let them proceed. And anybody has the right, if you can get you a lawyer or get you a client, and you can go to the courthouse. It's kind of ironic. Oftentimes we're criticized for being too litigious, and nowadays, people find that they can go directly to the courthouse. He has the right to take the matter to the courthouse, and we'll see what the outcome will be. My job is to be the mayor for how long as the system will allow it, and my term right now goes for 4 years, and that's the only thing I'm focusing on. And if by chance the court should say otherwise, then so be it. But I'm not going to spend any sleep at all worrying about any legal action that has been filed. What I will spend my time focusing on is making sure that I do the best job in serving the needs of the people of the city of Houston. and I'll let the lawyers do what lawyers, sometimes do.
You have anything to say about the big debate coming up this week?
Do you know, I thought about attending, but then but only if they would allow me to give greetings on behalf of the city of Houston. And, but no one has, no one has asked me to give greetings on behalf of the city of Houston. But other than that, having gone through about 72 debates myself not too long ago, I wish them well. But I would like to be on the stage and give greetings on behalf of the city of Houston to welcome everybody here and invite them to come back for the Super Bowl. All right. All right. Thank you all so very much. Thanks. I apologize for my voice. Just trying to hold on to it.